Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're passionate about South African politics, accountability, and the need for ethical leadership, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Today, we're diving deep into yet another political bombshell involving none other than former President Jacob Zuma, and this one has serious implications for how we think about transparency and trust in leadership. Jacob Zuma has once again found himself at the center of controversy. But this time, it's not about Nkandla or the Guptas or the Zondo Commission, though all those issues are very much connected. This time, the focus is on Zuma's apparent failure to declare his personal financial interests when he became president in 2009 and maintained that silence throughout his presidency until 2018. This isn't just a technicality, it's a violation of a fundamental constitutional requirement that all cabinet members, including the president, declare their financial interests every year. For context, South African law requires public officials, from ministers to the president himself, to disclose their assets, income, liabilities, and other interests annually. This is meant to promote transparency and prevent conflicts of interest that could compromise their ability to serve the public. These declarations are submitted to Parliament through the Office of the Registrar of Members' Interests and are an essential part of democratic oversight. But according to recent reports, Zuma never complied with this requirement, not even once. Sources inside the registrar's office have revealed, under the condition of anonymity, that Zuma simply did not file any such declarations during his entire term. That's nearly a decade of presidential silence on his private wealth, business ties, or financial obligations. It may sound like a bureaucratic lapse, but in the world of governance, it's a major red flag. It represents not just negligence but a complete disregard for transparency, which is supposed to be the foundation of public trust. What makes this even more alarming is the broader pattern of behavior we've seen during Zuma's presidency. Remember, his time in office was marked by some of the most damning corruption scandals in South Africa's democratic history, most notably, the state capture project orchestrated in collaboration with the Gupta family. Billions were looted from state-owned enterprises, from Eskom to Transnet, and a culture of impunity was allowed to thrive. Now, we are seeing yet another layer to that legacy, one that speaks to the institutional erosion of ethical standards right from the top. Political analysts and ethics experts are already weighing in. Dr. Amanda Thwala, one of South Africa's leading voices on political ethics, has described Zuma's failure to declare as not just a procedural failure but a moral and institutional betrayal. According to her, when a president flouts the rules that are designed to keep him accountable, it sends a message to everyone beneath him in government that rules are optional. That mindset likely emboldened many other officials to do the same, contributing to the rot of corruption that has plagued our institutions. Indeed, this revelation could explain a lot about how we got here. If the head of state ignored such a critical constitutional obligation, it's not surprising that so many of his ministers and advisors followed suit, choosing secrecy over transparency and personal gain over public service. The results, as we've seen, have been catastrophic for state credibility, service delivery, and economic stability. Opposition parties are now demanding action. Calls are mounting for a full independent inquiry into Zuma's failure to disclose his interests. They argue that it's not just about holding Zuma accountable after the fact, but about learning from this episode so that it never happens again. There's growing public demand for Parliament to strengthen its oversight role and ensure that no future president can simply ignore the law with zero consequences. Zuma's defenders, of course, are spinning this as a politically motivated smear campaign. They say it's just another attempt to damage the legacy of a former president who still holds significant support, especially in parts of KwaZulu-Natal and within the Umkhonto we Sizwe party. But that argument misses the point. This isn't about politics, it's about principles. It's about the trust South Africans place in their leaders and whether that trust was betrayed. Now, let's not forget the timing here. These revelations come as the country is still processing the fallout from the Zondo Commission and the broader state capture saga. The Commission's final report made it abundantly clear that Zuma's presidency was one of systemic governance failure. And yet, even with all of that out in the open, we are still uncovering more layers of opacity, more signs that the norms of ethical leadership were being violated in quiet but deeply consequential ways. This also raises bigger questions. If Zuma was able to go nearly a decade without disclosing his financial interests, how many other high-ranking officials have also slipped through the cracks? Is Parliament doing enough to enforce its own rules? What mechanisms are in place to ensure that future leaders can just opt out of transparency? Parliament is now under pressure to review and potentially tighten its oversight mechanisms. Some legal experts are suggesting that financial disclosures should not just be required, but actively audited and published for public scrutiny, especially in the case of the president. After all, how can we be sure our leaders are serving the public interest if we don't even know what private interest they might be serving in the shadows? This moment presents a pivotal opportunity to reevaluate the culture of governance in South Africa. It's not enough to rely on good faith anymore. We need strong institutions, enforced rules, and leaders who understand that accountability is not optional. Whether it's Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa, or whoever comes next, the principle must be the same: no one is above the Constitution. As this story develops, we'll be keeping a close eye on Parliament's next steps, the reaction from civil society, and any legal action that may follow. Zuma may no longer be in office, but the decisions he made and failed to make continue to shape the landscape of South African politics. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth political commentary, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Jacob Zuma should face consequences for failing to disclose his interests? And what changes would you like to see in how our government enforces transparency? See you next time.